will boil if Governor Fubara is impeached. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Asukwo James. Journalist Hangout starts right now. Now let's begin the conversation. History is often shaped by those who survive it, but the truth remains contested. The family of the late head of state, Sani Abacha, has accused former military ruler Ibrahim Babangida of distorting facts in his recent autobiography, A Journey in Service. In the book, Babangida claimed that Abacha and other military officers orchestrated the annulment of the June 12, 1993 presidential election without his consent. However, in a statement signed by Mohammed Abacha, the family rejected Babangida's account, alleging that he was attempting to shift blame and rewrite history to suit his narrative. The Abacha family urged Nigerians to remain wary of revisionist accounts that manipulate public perception for personal or political gains. Biko, I remember in 1993, I think I was in primary 3. But looking at this claim, some people claim that the former president, IBB, only made such statements because Abacha was dead. Why now?
Well, there are many people who do not take books written about the Nigerian Civil War seriously, because every account that you read, you are inclined to believe that the truth was a casualty, because people will write to suit their own people. They will write those things that will make their own people happy. People will sometimes write and give far more credit to themselves than they deserve. There is somebody who is guilty of that. I don't want to mention this.
Yeah, let's not mention names.
But people know who I'm talking about. If you did 10% of a job and you give yourself 100%, people will know that you lack any sense of modesty. But let's leave that person and focus on IBB. I was also one of those who didn't think
the long-anticipated memoir of General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, a man who played a significant role in that.
To say, I don't know how that got on our show now. I was also one of those who didn't think that it made any sense to cast Abacha in the way that the book cast him. What we know about the military is that the commander-in-chief has executive powers, full executive powers, and that is what Mohammed Abacha is saying. As far as Mohammed Abacha is concerned, Abacha was neither the head of state nor the CNC at the time of the election. And he also argued that the final executive powers was solely the responsibility of IBB. And IBB was deliberately distorting facts through its revisionist narration meant to manipulate public perception for political reasons. Mohammed Abacha also said honesty, sincerity, and integrity are virtues not commonly associated with Babangida. I think this real hard tackle for somebody who was close to his dad, who worked closely with him, who planned coups with him. I think this was a really tough one to describe IBB in these words. And it's difficult to blame him because in that book, IBB was not kind to his father, because he also cast his father as somebody unstable and unpredictable. these were not things that the Abacha family found comfortable. True. And IBB also gave the feeling, he tried to defend not retiring Abacha. For me, not retiring Sani Abacha, when you retired others, you retired the service chiefs, you retired senior people, but you left Sani Abacha, a man that people knew was after
the number one job.
The number one job. In fact, they had begun to call him Khalifa, meaning successor. So for somebody like that who was already politically exposed, or you could describe him as a politically exposed soldier, if you left him to give, as he said, stability to the interim national government, you created a situation that will make the interim national government to be stillborn, because he is going to kick Shonekon out of the way. And I'm saying something today that Shonekon's resignation speech, we only heard his voice. They didn't show his face. Somebody told me that a gun was put to his neck to read it, because he had just returned from a UN conference where he said the Nigeria's path to democracy was irreversible. How do you then, a few days later, begin to resign?
Change your mind.
It was the first time that something in the frame of a presidential broadcast will be read, and you will not see a movie. You will not see any picture, just something blank. But the man resigned. So there are things that we didn't see with our eyes, but we can suspect that a lot of things happened. Yes. Shonekon himself left power against his wish, because Abacha badly wanted to achieve his aim of becoming president. And the person that you will blame for all that was the person who left him in office. Any other thing that you say after that, people will not want to believe. You know? Now some of them are calling IBB coward, that he didn't have the... Even one of Abacha's children called him a coward.
But another thing is, yes, I know the buck stops at the president, the head of state's table. But could have, the former president have done that kind of decision without carrying the likes of Abacha and the crew along in agreement?
Which decision?
The decision about annulment and all of it?
No, that's what DK is saying. Even in the book.
You tried to say that people like Abacha were the drivers of the annulment. You know, you understand that if he had left Abiola, they would have killed him. You know, those were the regrets that he expressed. But people will not believe, because they believe that the buck stops at your desk. You are the CNC, and military rulers are by nature powerful, because it's obey before complain that way.
That's true.
So if you took a decision not to allow the man take power, you have subverted the will of the Nigerian people. The Nigerian people voted overwhelmingly. Okay, this is the person we wanted. And the voting cut across religious and ethnic divides.
Exactly.
But you didn't allow that person to exercise his mandate because you felt they will kill him. Many people will not buy that argument. No. Because Abacha and others like him cannot be bigger than the Nigerian state. But I also know that IBB was surrounded at a point by soldiers who said, no, power must not go to the south at this time, and it should not go to Abiola. So there are many things that happened, but I don't think it was fair to heap that much blame
on Abacha.
You know, because now the children are saying there was a time when his own life was in danger.
And it was their father that...
to 1990.
Yes, it was their father that saved him.
But talk to me, what's your assessment of this?
No, I think, just like BKO said, anybody that is writing a book would always have either praise himself or try to exonerate himself of either one crime or the other. The book has really, opened old wounds. because so many people, especially those who fought for democracy, are all thinking, is it this same man that almost killed us when we are, doing our work like journalists, like Vicky and so many others. Even I remember when Abacha even died, that we were jubilating. But when the book came out, we wanted to see something different, but eventually we are now seeing something like IBB trying to remove himself from the crime. He even said that in some part of the book, he was saying that it had nothing to do with the annulment, that he was even going somewhere. Then all of a sudden, Ndukai Rabo, read his speech. And thankfully, because now we are talking about book, and somebody has even brought account of what happened. Ndukai Rabo is even alive. And we are hoping that at some point he will also write a book to know what really happened that particular day.
Do you think maybe the Abacha family should also write a book? All the players.
No, the thing is,
so that we can actually
do you know that even in that 1993, some players, some people who played a major role ended up benefiting from this same democracy. And those ones have not even thought about writing any book. Their own is let them just enjoy this same democracy.
What they did not fight for.
Because they didn't fight for it, But for the mere fact that the Abacha family have come out to come and say, no, you shouldn't have even said it is only my father. You are heaping the entire blame of 1990 on my father.
Instead of taking responsibility.
Because the CNC is Alpha and Omega when it comes to the government. Yes, he might have said, okay, I take responsibility, but not for you to push the blame on one person. If you are writing a book, say that, okay, everything happened, I know about it, I was the commander-in-chief, and then
apologize.
Apologize and leave. Because even in that book, I'm not sure there's anywhere there is apology there.
To Nigerians.
Who lost their lives.
Who lost their lives, whose whose desires were subverted.
Yeah.
It was a subversion of the will of the Nigerian people. There's no way you can describe what.
So the book did not do justice to closure.
No. It created more problems.
It created more.
Because if you look at it, even during that time, there are so many journalists whose life has never been the same because of what happened.
Some died.
Some had mental problems.
Yeah, mental problem.
Some were jailed for nothing.
Yes.
Only Ajibade was jailed for a story that I anchored.
Oh, really?
Yes. My was the editor. It was my editor, and they were looking for me. They couldn't find me. Came to my office in Kano. And as I walked in, I saw two individuals, because we were print journalists.
Okay.
They didn't
know
they
who.
didn't recognize. Okay.
Yeah.
So they were asking the girl, Shine Onako. So the girl was my secretary, Abashibane. I just walked into the inner room and melted into Yankura Market. From Yankura Market, I went to Jos Street. That was their last chance to catch me.
Oh, dear.
Yes. And the people that they arrested, they were looking for information. The information that they would have liked to take was from me.
I guess you also need to write a book. Maybe your own account.
My book is on the way.
Your own account of your June 12 experience.
And that would be a bestseller. You understand?
Exactly.
We lost some of our friends, but that Calto today.
Yeah.
He died on because of this June 12 wahala.
Oh, dear. All right, then. All right, gentlemen, let's move straight to our next conversation. The courts remain the final arbiters of political disputes, but not all battles find footing in law. The Supreme Court of Nigeria has dismissed the appeal filed by Agbola Ajayi of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) challenging the candidacy of Ondo State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. In a judgment delivered by Justice Lawal Garba, the Apex Court ruled that Ajayi's case was found out of time and lacked legal standing as he was not a member of the All Progressives Congress (APC). The court reaffirmed that party nomination processes are internal affairs and dismissed the case as unsustainable. Ajayi was also ordered to pay 2 million naira in cost to each of the 4 respondents. Now, Bikio, let's take a deep dive at the Supreme Court ruling. I mean, what were the things considered, by the Apex Court before reaching this verdict?
As far as the Supreme Court was concerned, anybody can change a name as long as they properly change that name. That means the processes were right.
Okay.
You can change a name. You can't say because in secondary school this was somebody's name, then in public life he cannot change it. He can change a name as long as it's on record that he properly changed his name. It can't be a basis to disqualify someone's victory, victory in an election. So that's one point that the Supreme Court affirmed. The Supreme Court said the petition was baseless, frivolous, and lacking in merit, as it was filed out of time. Now, the course of action that prompted the petition was on the 20th of May.
Okay.
You then proceeded to file an action with the Federal High Court on June 7th. That already exceeds the constitutionally guaranteed 14 days.
Okay, the 14 days.
Any matter that you file outside the time ceiling that they've set,
yes,
it's a waste of time. There's no court that you go to that will give you victory because you filed out of time. There's a time frame within which you can file a matter like this. Because at the end of the day, it's a pre-election matter. Okay. It's not based on the petition, based on the election, the conduct of the election itself. It's a pre-election matter which are not handled by election petitions tribunals. They are handled by the regular courts. Okay. But you must file within the time.
The 14-day period.
Yes. Okay. If the course of action was May 20, that is when they submitted their documents and all that to INEC. Okay. You now filed your complaint on June 7. You filed out of time. So the court had no choice to dismiss the petition. I think that generally it made no sense because I don't know why lawyers do this. Lawyers ought to brief their clients properly that, look, sorry, at this time we cannot file an action. It's too late to file an action. But you allow the client to waste his money, waste his time, you waste the time of the courts. And because the law is clear, the Supreme Court had no choice but to uphold the concurrent judgments from the lower courts, the Federal High Court to the Appeal Court. And then there was really no case.
In other words, the legal counsel should be held responsible for this.
For me, yes. For me, of course, costs were awarded to all of the respondents, so that's enough punishment judicially. For me, if you must stop an electoral victory, your complaint must be about the conduct of the election. Maybe certain steps were not taken that they should have taken and all that. Not be dusting up somebody's documents and saying, oh, he was in secondary school, his name was Jackson, and now he's... and this was an election that Aiyedatiwa won by a huge landslide. A huge landslide. That is the verdict of the people. You want to change that verdict by looking for...
one O that is not in...
I mean, I don't understand. Frankly, I don't understand.
In other words, like wasting the time of the courts.
Yes,
exactly.
And the courts have... Look at the Supreme Court. Look at all the work that those old men and women do. Old men, because they don't even see anybody as a woman.
Exactly.
So all those men, look at all the work that they do. Every case literally ends.
And the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Okay, Asuko, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's good that was awarded because this is a case that shouldn't have gone this far. And anybody that is going to the tribunal must have cast stone or evidence, whereby once you are going to the court, you know that this is, and it has to be related to the election.
Not a pre-election matter, the election itself.
Yes, because even in terms of talking about forgery or whatever, the Supreme Court actually relied on a case between APC and Obaseki. Remember then, during that case, the APC said something about Obaseki forging certificates. Like didn't go to UI. And then they started bringing certificates. What they brought was photocopy sent to INEC. Meanwhile, the person the defendant actually brought his real certificate, original to the court. Okay. They say, okay, you are alleging that this person did not go to school or he forged a certificate. So yeah, where is your own original? And they brought somebody from UI who confirmed that the one Obaseki, brought was the original. So if Agbola wanted to, in any way, say that Jackson is now Olabi, perhaps he should have gone to maybe where they sign affidavit, to get an original or a document for him to prove himself. But he didn't, because Adelabi actually proved that, that I changed my name from Jackson to Olabi, or either way. So people must understand that winning an election case is not usually easy, especially if you do not have evidence, especially when it's a pre-election matter. There is no point you going on a wild goose chase. Just go ahead, bring your evidence. And I feel that the justices will not look, the other way if they know that your evidence are strong enough.
But don't you think the legal counsel should also be, knowing that these things will not hold water?
They would see, every election here, lawyers are always ready to go for election. They will always tell you that you will win a case. There's no lawyer that will go to court and will tell you that they will lose a case.
But should that be the norm? So knowing that they know you're not going to win.
No, do you think they know that they will win?
No, not saying.
Don't think that they will lose.
They will say they will
win.
When they know.
Let me tell you, every lawyer wins a case. So you can't. So that is why they are lawyers. That's why they are lawyers. They will always want to prove. But it is when they now get to the Supreme Court will now tell them, no, these are the real facts. It lacks merit. You don't have local standard for you to, to bring it to court. It is a pre-election matter, and XYZ. And even fine them. Like now, he has been fined. Even when he was when he went to appeal court, they fined him. Now he has come to Supreme Court, they have also fined him again. So you can see,
knowing that the case is statute bad, you didn't file it within the 14-day window.
I think that one is even the most easiest.
The legal counsel should have,
Yes, at that point, I think that is where the legal counsel would have just said, there's no point moving further. But they will tell him that, okay, there's another way out. And that other way out is always the other way.
They find the law of frivolous petitions.
Exactly, wasting the time of the courts like this. But we need to go on this quick break, and when we return, the conversation continues. Don't go anywhere. Still Journalist Hangout.
And cable, great quality, now with the new look.
All right, if you just joined us, it's still Journalist Hangout. I still have BKO right here and Asukwa James. Let's get back to the conversation, shall we? Public institutions are meant to serve the people. When they become the targets of destruction, it signals deep discontent. In Benue State, anger boiled over as irate youths in Naka touched the palace of Tenagi Chief Daniel Abomse and parts of the Gwe West Local Government Secretariat. Their outrage followed the killing of 3 operators of the Benue Civil Protection Guards by suspected herders in Garuwa community. The mob also set fire to several other properties, including a hotel belonging to Senator Titus Zam, who represents Benue Northwest District. Meanwhile, in Ondo State, another wave of unrest unfolded as residents took to the streets to protest the abduction of 9 surveyors by suspected armed herdsmen. The kidnappers have reportedly demanded 100 million naira ransom, further escalating tensions in the state. Okay, BK, let's start from Benue State. I mean, what is really going on in Benue State? I mean, why is there a breakdown of law and order?
No, the rate at which criminal headsmen are killing people in Benue is disturbing. It has not stopped. The former governor tried his best. He came up with the anti-open grazing law.
Yes.
But in spite of that, they will come into Benue and be killing people. The boundary between Benue and Ebonyi, for example, they attack communities, kill people, and just move away. In local governments like Logo and Gwe West, that are described as being among the most fertile local governments in Nigeria, these guys continue to go there to kill people. Today, out of the 23 local government areas in Benue State, only 10 are not badly affected by the activities of criminal herdsmen. Only 10. But the remaining 13, like Agatu, Upper, Gwe West, Guma, Makodi, Gwe East, Taka, Boko, Buruku, Logo, Ukum, Kasinala, and Kwande, they are regularly attacked by bandits. More than 1/3 of Benue people are in IDP camps. So those IDP camps are run by government, some are run by...
More than 1/3
yes,
of Benue people?
Yes.
That's
You
strange.
see, and many communities have been completely taken over. You go to Kwande local government that is close to the border with Cameroon. Some communities have been taken over and renamed by these marauders. So how can people be this wicked on Nigerians within the boundaries of our country, and we are unable to do anything about it? Politicians are going about like nothing has happened. They've not been able to find a solution to the senseless killings in Benue. There's improvement in Plateau. We can report improvement.
Yeah.
Because the immediate past GOC did tremendous work. The rate at which they were killing people in places like Bokos, Barking Lad, you know, and Mangu, it has reduced drastically. And people are happy. People are able to access their farms in those places because security has improved. The governor of Kaduna has found a way, especially in the Breningwari area. The president even talked about it.
Yeah, he did.
You know? So, governors must sit down, especially governors in places where these guys are running rampant. They must sit down and look for homegrown solution. You can't be spending your time in Abuja while your people are being killed like flies. It makes no sense. This wildlife is too much. How can you kill even the people who are meant to guide the people, guide our people? They wasted them. Killed. And that was why people got angry and began to protest, and they were burning public buildings and even private buildings. It is the result of anger. No one is saying that it's justified. But the people will tell you how much longer can they go through this. In the Zone A area of Benue State, people are being killed anyhow. They have indigenous bandits, and they also have criminal headsmen coming to operate without hindrance.
Just coming and going.
Yes. How many times do we even hear that those guys have been put on trial and some of them jailed? They continue to kill people. That was how they killed clerics the other day. And some misguided people were claiming that the people who killed those clerics were Benue people. This is how we play politics. I caused a documentary to be done in that community where those 2 clerics were killed. And we discovered that they were killed by criminal headsmen, not Benue people. People are playing politics with the lives of people. They claim that, oh, it was Benue people that carried out the killings. Of course, because they didn't like Otom. Now Otom is gone. Has the killing stopped? Now, have they stopped killing people? The answer is no. The answer is no. So I think that we need to improve in terms of the way we respond to these needless attacks on our innocent people.
Now, Asuko, there are allegations that the government of the state is not doing enough to protect, the people. But what are your thoughts on this?
No, I think it's quite disheartening, because everybody knows the importance of Benue. The last administration, then we are always hearing about deaths and all this killing. So we are thinking now that we have a popular governor, who got maybe like almost 100% votes, the close to maybe let's say like huge support, so from the people, these killings will reduce. Okay, we are thinking about that. But I think the thing has not, we are still hearing about these constant killings by these marauders. They will come, they will kill, they leave. And this one that happened really made people really angry, because I heard, from what I gathered, some people are already returning home because the farming season wants to start. And these guys, what they will go, they clear their farms, and then they'll start looking for, okay, what do we start to plant and all that. So these guys attack them, kill people, and also the people who are supposed to guide the community. So that was what really angered people. The government of the day is supposed to now start sitting down to find real solutions. If they need to, because I know that politics have, for Benue, for the past how many weeks now, even 1 month, we've been hearing even crisis within the APC.
But they say that governors are just mere chief security officers.
Wait.
And the buck stops at the president's table. Even the federal government should.
There's somewhere I'm going to. The thing is, in Benue, the crisis in Benue is becoming more political. And that is where they need to stop this so-called political crisis and then sit down and find homegrown solution within themselves. Meaning that if I don't like this person, is from this political party, I should be able to call him to a round table. Let's find solution to what is really killing us.
Just like they've done in other states, like Kaduna and all.
Exactly, in Plateau.
In Plateau
now,
as
this issue about peace in Plateau didn't just materialize like that. It is because they decided on their own that, okay, it is time for us to sit down, for us to address this matter.
Okay.
So the governor has to come. He has to bring even his enemies to this round table.
And let us
to sit down to find solution to deal with these people. It is not the Benue people that will come and kill themselves. It is because politics has already infiltrated into their camp.
All right, Asukwa, just hold that thought, okay? We have David calling from Abuja. David, thank you so much for joining us on Journalist Hangout.
Thank you very much. Good evening, gentlemen in the studio.
Yeah, good evening to you. Let's talk.
Thank you very much. I want to join these conversations. My name is David, calling from Abuja.
Okay.
Baba Jide has already set a point that triggered my interest to call. I don't know why these people we voted into office decide to change automatically from what we expected them to do. I think the first important thing of a governor is to protect the interest and the life of his people and his property.
Okay.
But I wonder why immediately they step into the office, they change their narratives to put things in their own personal interest, forgetting about the interests of the people they govern. Like the issue of Benue State, it is quite very easy for this killing to stop, because as long as the governor happens to be the chief security of the state, it's very easy.
All right, then. Thank you so much, David.
So, yeah, and so the thing is, I think the president also has to look at it.
Exactly.
Any governor that is having crisis in his state, he shouldn't come to Abuja to come and say, if he doesn't find solution, he must, at least there should be something.
He shouldn't come to Abuja.
There should be something. Yes, they have freedom of movement, or there should be something to show that, okay, that you are even making effort for you to get the government or the federal government support.
Okay.
Because most of them, they have their bedrooms in Abuja. Then when it's time to share money, they go to their states. No, we shouldn't be like that.
Okay.
Because the people really need the governor to be amongst them, to even give them hope that even they are even doing something. Because, for instance, if something is happening in your state, the governor should be the first person to go and even check what is happening. How many people have died? People are, yesterday, I'm not sure that even the governor of Benue has gone to this place to even go and see what has happened, the number of people that have been killed, the places that have been burnt down, because these are private facilities and public infrastructure that have been burnt. So we need these governors. Our governors need to start seeing the people as first
and before also anything. Thinking out of the box
exactly.
as well. But I would have loved to also talk about the issue of our porous borders. Benue is, bordering, I think, Cameroon in the southeast. But let's also look at Ondo State, the kidnapping of these surveyors. Bike, what are your thoughts on this?
It's terrible. Makore North local government, 4 communities, they were attacked at midnight. And people are kidnapped. The people who are protesting, some of them are relations of the 9 surveyors. And they have been asked to bring 100 million before those guys could be free. And they were working in the forest in the area. They just came, they packed them. People have been saying, look, yes, Southwest is the safest geopolitical zone in our country. But bandits are already coming down from northern Nigeria into the Southwest. All these Southwest governors wearing starched agbada all over the place, they need to sit down and work. And they need to think. You can't allow your doors to be so wide open for people to come, people who are facing bombardment in the north, to come and find habitation in southern Nigeria, in the Southwest. You can't. Some criminal-minded people are also coming from the Southeast. Remember those who tried to carry out the kidnapping
in Lagos,
in Lagos, in that market?
Yeah.
They came from the Southeast. So there's a need. I hear them talking about, okay, they want to work together and all that. There's a need for that. That was why people were happy when the idea of Amotekun came.
Yes.
Because they felt with the coming of Amotekun, we'll be safer. And I can tell you that if not because we have Amotekun, especially in Ondo State,
especially
in Ondo State, that is like a gateway to the north.
Okay, to the north.
Yes. Mm-hmm. If not for what Amotekun is doing on those states, only God knows where we'll be today. I anchored an MBA conference where stakeholders were very happy with the quality of work that Amotekun had done in Ondo State. Because they made a presentation and people could see clearly that indeed, we can find home-sourced solution to our security problems.
Exactly.
Amotekun is filling the gap. And thank God, before the death of Akeredolu, he found a way to create a law permitting them to prosecute.
To prosecute?
Yes, they can prosecute, they can arrest and prosecute. And if we know the number of people they are arresting every day, we are happy, we should be grateful to them. Because before those guys come down, they intercept them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they come through the forests. And
yes.
All right, gentlemen, let's move straight to our next conversation. Political turbulence continues to rock Rivers State, and the warning bells are getting louder. A pro-Governor Siminalayi Fubara group, the Supreme Council for SIM Worldwide, has cautioned against any attempt to impeach the governor, warning that such a move could ignite widespread unrest. Speaking on behalf of the group, Isezi Obilo Rukani urged the 27 lawmakers pushing for Fubara's removal to reconsider their stance, stating that the people of Rivers State would resist any attempt to oust him. Meanwhile, Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has now assured that his administration will implement to its fullest the recent judgment of the Supreme Court of Nigeria on the political crisis in the states. Now let's share the story with you.
It has not been an easy 16 months. But what is important is the interests of our state must be above our personal interests. I want to say it here, very loud and clear to everyone. The Supreme Court has given a judgment. My administration is going to implement the judgment to its fullest. The reason is clear. It's not about me. It's about the good of this state. We can imagine the kind of waste that has taken place in both sides. These are money that if we have used it in the affair of this state, there would have been a lot of things to show.
Okay, this story is on two sides, okay, but let's start from the side A, pro-Fubara group, giving strong warnings that if there's an attempt to impeach the governor, there will be something. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I also don't want to see Fubara impeached. I don't think that is the right thing to do. I don't think that's a sensible thing to do. I'm happy to hear him say that the Supreme Court judgment will be obeyed. And as I said 2 Fridays ago, the governor has no choice. All of the people think, what if he does not obey? Why would he not obey? Does he have 2 heads? The people who have been obeying, are they not human beings? People bigger than him, much bigger than him, they've had to obey the Supreme Court. And I gave the example of Obasanjo. He kept losing. In quick succession, he lost more than 8 cases. And he still obeyed. He obeyed. One of the cases that you were expecting not to obey was that of Atiku, because he wanted to make sure that Atiku didn't succeed him. So he tried to stop him from contesting the election. Less than 76 hours to the election, Supreme Court ruled that Atiku must be on the ballot. Obasanjo had no choice
but to obey.
Yeah, so why are we talking about Fubara? Someone say, we don't know what will happen in Rivers. We don't know. What if Fubara did not obey? Why will he not obey? So we've heard from him now that he will obey. We do not want to see all of the people misadvising the governor. People profiteering from the quarrel in Rivers State. Shame on them.
Yes.
They should stay in their states. So going up and down, misleading the young man. They know that he's politically naive, yeah, exactly. So it's easy for them to walk up to him and give him one advice. But what the governor needs to do now is focus on obeying the Supreme Court. Focus on working with the lawmakers. Even some of his friends know that that's the best bet. Yes. And as I said yesterday, it was wrong of the governor to get the clerk to write.
You know, the SSG.
Yeah, the SSG to write to this. It was wrong. And a deputy speaker sent me a message yesterday that it was wrong for the SSG to have signed the letter. The governor ought to have signed it. The SSG can only sign a letter going to the clerk of the House and not to the Speaker. In all standing rules of the House, all letters coming to the Speaker must be signed personally by the governor. So what are we talking about? When somebody is wrong, let's tell him he's wrong. We want peace. Fubara can better manage this situation. For me, it's a surprise to me that a governor of a state like Rivers, you are finding it difficult to control, to have your lawmakers on your side. We are not saying have everybody. But a situation in which about 27 are not even on your side. And even to those who want to ethnicize the thing, there are Ijos among those who are not on the side.
Exactly. That's what most people don't know.
That's what people don't know. Those trying to turn this to an Ijo matter. It's not an Ijo matter. It's a Rivers matter. We want peace. Let there be peace. Let's begin to hear of good developments in that place. Do the proper thing. Why should you send your SSG to do a letter? These are people that you snubbed for so long. You are not paying their salary. Yes. You even wanted to demolish their homes. If not for Rivers elders who came up to say no, he was already inspecting where you will demolish. A beautiful place, you still wanted to demolish after you succeeded with the House of Assembly complex. No, all that has to stop. Implement it. Go and present your budget. Go and present your budget. Lay it before these guys. Already, they've been confirmed as the authentic lawmakers. It's been affirmed that they did not defect. Because as I've said long before now, to defect, your name has to be on the register of the new party. You couldn't bring the evidence because those boys didn't pursue it further. So somebody was shouting about this thing, affidavit. Oh, they swore to affidavit. But the Supreme Court said no. For you to defect,
your name must be on the register.
And your name must have left the register of your former party. Nothing. And you must have the card, membership card. Okay. So all of that didn't happen. So technically, the law does not know anything about emotions. All of the people who go to TV stations splitting hairs because they are too emotional, even over matters that do not concern them. They will tell you, oh, they've lost their seat. Oh, they've lost their which seats have they lost? If somebody kills a man, does he automatically lose his life?
No.
The law has to follow its course.
Okay, Brother Asuko, in your opinion, do you think the actions of governor since the Supreme Court ruling, do you think the governor is showing or has shown good faith that he will?
You know, just like Vicky just said, when the Supreme Court judgment came, those same sharks are the ones trying to misadvise him again. Not to, no agree. It's not about no agree. This is Supreme Court for crying out loud. It's Supreme Court that is speaking.
The final court.
That is the final. After that, it's God.
To wait for God.
It's to go to God. So the Supreme Court has spoken, and he said he was waiting for CTC.
CTC.
In fact, what happened was I still saw CTC in virtually most of the newspapers. So that if you don't see it,
we don't read them out.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't see it, one way or the other, you are walking in your sitting room.
You stumble on it, true.
So the people who wanted him to see the CTC made sure that he will see the CTC. So you have
to waiting remain.
So there's nothing. So my own is that he actually kept to listening to wrong advisors for too long, making him feel that there's nothing that can happen. Even making him make utterances that he's not supposed to.
Yes. Tactless.
The man is a very, I don't know. He's quiet. If you look at him, you know that this person doesn't look like somebody who can kill a fly.
So, gentleman.
But they just make him look as if he can do everything, he can do on and do. Look at this, he's a very quiet person.
Okay, but how about those groups? Those groups, INC, the IYC,
listen,
that are saying if anything happens, they will
forget all those people.
Do you think the governor should come and, you know,
the governor is part of
condemn
them? They are entitled to their opinion.
They are all entitled to
all of these people. If the governor does what is right, they don't even need to talk.
They won't even go close to the governor.
They don't even need to talk. Let the governor do what is right. It is not about those people. This is not an ethnic disagreement.
So leave that
if it was ethnic disagreement, there won't be just amongst those 27.
They have the just
What are we talking about? We have people from other ethnicities. It's not simply an equerry matter. No. They don't. It doesn't need all of those people. And the lawyers who are misleading him, going from TV station to TV station, you know, turning the law upside down. Those are not the people that he needs at this time. Let him follow what the Supreme Court said. There is no big deal about it. Go and represent the budget. You cannot dodge representing it. You can't escape representing it. You know, the laws of our country, the judgments of our courts are enforceable. And he should know that. But he surrounded himself with misadvisors.
Exactly.
All of the things we told him to do, honestly, if he begins to do them, he will see that that is the way to go.
You know,
because some of us are not emotionally attached.
Deal with facts.
It's just the right thing that we're talking about.
If we had even listened to the president way back, we wouldn't even have gotten to this point.
Okay,
because some of those things that the president said go and do is the same thing that the Supreme Court...
He had begun doing them before they started misleading him, then he changed his mind. He had begun, because I don't understand.
So he has to choose his friends.
True.
Wisely.
Not psychopaths and all.
After this one, after this whole episode, he should sit down, whether he has to go to church.
And nobody must impeach. It's not even a matter of
impeachment. We
don't want to hear about.
We don't want to hear.
What do you want to impeach him for?
No, forget it.
Nobody should impeach Fubara. Leave Fubara alone.
But
let Fubara himself
do the right thing.
He has repented. So we now want to see him do the work.
Well, it's a fine place for us to leave it, gentlemen. Okay. Asuko James.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you as always. Appreciate it. BK.
He said he has repented. We have not seen the full sign of repentance.
Until he does the right.
Until he does the right thing.
Once he does the head, then we can
implement the judgment.
Exactly.
And then you are coming online.
All right then, BK. Thank you so much for having this conversation. And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11. Join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oreshegun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Step up with DSTV and we'll show up by giving you more incredible entertainment.
Buckle up, here we go.
Upgrade your subscription between the 13th of January and the 31st of March and get an even higher package for a whole month on us.
What a day he's having!
There's nothing better than putting a little bit in but getting a lot out.
Time to boost some office morale. And what a finish! Now Martin back in P5.
You gotta know what you want.
Step up and we'll show up on your home of entertainment, DSTV.
Voted as the best TV station of the year. TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen. Following all nationwide big and impactful stories. Without the news from every perspective. Covering every human angle. I am Veronica, bringing you the news you would want to watch.
Wherever you see destruction, it's because God is absent. There is no destruction in God. So who started killing from Genesis? Satan. Jesus exposed him. The thief cometh not, but for to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But I am come that you may have life and have it how much? More abundant. I prophesy as your amen is coming like thunder. Whatever is yours, receive it now.
doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known, for when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century, speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Sometimes it's the story that calls. At other times, the people just want to be heard.
I need students, but I need teacher.
Can't continue like this.
Their voices re-echoing through time itself.
We haven't done anything. If the tide is high, everybody run for safety.
Their tears leave a sweet sour taste for all their demands. A familiar call beckoning for change. In our world, no one expects a disaster to happen. But when it does, we'll be there to x-ray all sides, from the east to the west, north and south. Community Forum will examine the oddities and challenges to economic development, as well as issues yearning for government intervention. Watch fresh episodes of Community Forum on Sundays by 9:30 p.m. only on TVC News.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.